15 Most Chilling Ghost Sightings Ever Recorded. Part 1. If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video. 1. The Spectre of Newby Church. The Spectre of Newby Church, also known simply as the Newby Monk, refers to a disturbing figure caught on a photograph taken inside the Church of Christ the Consoler, which is on the grounds of Newby Hall in North Yorkshire, England. The photograph was taken in 1963 by Reverend K.F. Lord, who claims he was simply photographing the altar, and that there was no one else there when the image was taken. The figure resembles a large person wearing what resembles a 16th century monk's cloak, with a white shroud over their face, such as was customary at the time to hide leprosy or deformity. Judging by the size of the altar seen in the image, Reverend Lord estimates the figure to have been nearly 9 feet tall. Though Newby Hall was built in 1870, there had never been any reported claims of paranormal activity. Regardless, this eerie figure is by far one of the creepiest ghostly images ever captured. Over the years, many have speculated against its authenticity. However, photographic experts have determined that the image is not the result of double exposure or negative tampering. It remains a tantalizing piece of evidence. 2. The Hampton Court Ghost. The Hampton Court Palace, near the River Thames in London, is famous as the home of King Henry VIII. It's also famous for being the current home of quite a few ghosts, some reportedly belonging to the Kind himself, and a few of his wives, namely Jane Seymour and Catherine Howard. As tourists walk about the 1,300 chambers of the palace, many report hearing, feeling, and sometimes even seeing spooky unexplained apparitions. The ghosts are often seen, dressed darkly, and have been referred to as the Grey Ladies. We already met one of them above at number 15. Now we'll meet another. One of the most famous of Hampton Court's ghosts was captured on a security camera, and has been dubbed Skeletor. It was winter of 2003. A fire alarm sounded in the palace near an exhibition hall, which signaled that the fire doors had been opened. When the security guards arrived, the doors were closed, and no one was around. When they went back to review the security footage, what they saw was astonishing. The heavy wooden doors seeming fly open without anyone nearby. Then a darkly hooded figure appears from the hall and draws the doors closed. Security recalled that those same doors had been opened at the same time, in the same way, the previous night, though they saw no ghostly figure on that night's security footage. The footage remains one of the most chilling pieces of evidence ever captured. 3. The Backseat Driver. In 1959, Mabel Chinnery and her husband went to the cemetery to pay their respects to the grave to Mabel's departed mother. While there, she took some photographs of the gravesite, and then turned and decided to take a photograph of her husband sitting in the nearby car. Mr. Chinnery was sitting in the passenger seat as the photo was snapped. Later, when the photograph was developed, Mabel saw what appeared to be someone else sitting in the car with her husband. The figure was sitting in the car's back seat, wearing sunglasses. This was absolutely mysterious, as they both were pretty sure there was no one else with them at the time of the photo. What is even more mysterious is that the backseat driver in the car was instantly recognizable to Mabel as being none other than her own deceased mother, the very person whose gravesite they were visiting when she snapped the photo. Photographic experts at the time examined the negative and concluded that the mystifying image of the backseat woman was neither a reflection nor a double exposure. As to whether it was the spirit of Mabel's mother or not, the photo was deemed genuine and has remained a staple of ghostly evidence. 4. The Tulip Staircase Ghost. This famous photograph was taken on June 19, 1966, by Rev. Ralph Hardy, a retired clergyman from British Columbia. His intention was to simply photograph the spiral staircase in the Queen's House area of the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich, England. However, when he got the photo developed, he was surprised to see a shrouded figure climbing the stairs, both hands a hold of the railing. The photo was taken around 5:30 p.m., with Rev. Hardy's wife standing beside him. She confirmed that there was no one on the stairs when they took the photo. In fact, the Tulip staircase itself was closed with a rope and a sign stating, "No admittance." Hardy admitted that he had heard about the rumors of the house being haunted. Spectral apparitions and unexplained footsteps are always being reported near the staircase by both visitors as well as staff. There have been sightings of a ghostly woman seen wiping down the bottom of the stairway. She is believed to be the ghost of a maid who fell over the banister and died at the foot of the stairs hundreds of years ago. Experts from all over, including Kodak, have examined the photo and the original negative. They concluded that the photo had not been doctored. It remains unexplained. 5. Ghost of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, Chicago. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery is a small, mostly abandoned cemetery on the rim of the Rubio Woods Forest Preserve, near the suburb of Midlothian, Illinois. Believed to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in America, Bachelor's Grove is home to over 100 individual reports of eerie phenomena, such as glowing orbs of light, mysterious sounds, and even unexplained ghostly figures. On August 10, 1991, members of the Ghost Research Society, GRS, were conducting an investigation of the cemetery. GRS member Mary Huff was taking black and white photos using a high-speed infrared camera. She ventured into an area where other group members had experienced some abnormalities with their ghost hunting equipment. It was late, and the cemetery was empty, save for the GRS team. Huff took her photos and the team continued their investigation. Later, when the photos were developed, this famous image was found. The image of an apparently lonely young woman, dressed all in white, sitting quietly on a tombstone. Some parts of her body are transparent and her attire seems to be from an older era. Though other witnesses have claimed other ghosts reside in the cemetery, such as figures wearing monks' robes as well as a man's spirit who appears in glowing yellow, the GRS team were only able to capture one image, that of the lonely woman's spirit. 6. The Tombstone Ghost. Terry I. Clanton is a descendant of the infamous Joseph I. Clanton, and the Clanton gang who fought with the Earp brothers in Doc Holliday at the famous OK Corral, in Tombstone, Arizona. Clanton operates a website dedicated to the history of Tombstone in famous gunfight. In 1996, Clanton wanted to get a photograph taken of himself, clad in 1880s attire, standing in Tombstone's famous Boot Hill Cemetery. The photo was taken in black and white for that Old West feel, to go along with his clothing. After getting the photo developed, he noticed a peculiar figure near the back of the photo. It appeared to a man, dressed in old cowboy clothes, as well. By the height of the figure, the man appears to be kneeling, or rising up out of the ground, as his legs are missing. Closer examination reveals the figure to be holding what at first was thought to be a tie, but later appears to be a knife. The knife is in the vertical position with the tip just below the figure's right collar. Clanton insists that there was no one there at the time of the photo. Clanton even tried to restage the photo by having someone stand in the same spot behind him. Just as he believed, it was physically impossible to appear in the photo without showing the person's legs. What's even odder is that Clanton's shadow is visible at a distance behind him, visible at his right, yet the figure doesn't have a shadow at all. Clanton never put much stock in the ghost stories told of Tombstone, but this photo made a believer out of him. 7. Chloe's Ghost at the Myrtles Plantation. The Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, is believed to be the home to at least 12 spirits, the most famous of which is Chloe, often seen wearing her green turban. Chloe was, so they say, a slave owned by Clark and Sarah Woodruff, inhabitants of the Myrtles. One day, Clark caught Chloe eavesdropping on a private conversation. As punishment, Clark had one of her ears cut off. This is the reason why she wore the turban, to cover her missing ear. In revenge, it is believed that Chloe baked a poisonous cake intended for her master. Unfortunately, her plan went astray and Clark's 2 daughters ate the cake instead and died. Chloe was hung for her crime, and her body was thrown into the Mississippi River. Many say that the ghosts of Chloe and the Woodruff girls still haunt the plantation. Countless witnesses have claimed to see Chloe, easily identifiable by her turban. In 1992, compelled by their insurance company, the owners of the Myrtles plantation took various photographs of the buildings. One photo shows what appeared to a slave girl wearing a turban standing near the breezeway between 2 buildings. The boards of the building can be seen showing through the body of the figure. The Myrtles plantation is believed to be one of the most haunted places in America. 8. The Ghost of Freddy Jackson. This interesting photo is one of the most widely celebrated ghost images ever captured. Taken in 1919, the photo came to the public attention in 1975, when it was first published by retired Royal Air Force Air Marshal Sir Victor Goddard. The photograph is a group portrait of Goddard's squadron, which saw action in World War I as part of the Royal Navy at the HMS Daedalus training facility. In the photo, you can see the face of another man peeking out from behind the head of another pilot. This extra ghostly face appears behind the airman positioned on the top row, 4th from the left. When members of the squadron reportedly first saw the photograph, they instantly recognized the face as belonging to a squadron air mechanic named Freddy Jackson. Freddy had been tragically killed just 2 days prior to the photo being taken when he accidentally walked into an airplane propeller. In fact, the photograph was snapped on the occasion of Freddy's funeral. Many believe that young Freddy, just not ready to accept his death, decided to show up and join his mates for the group photo. Skeptics dismiss the photo as a simple case of double exposure. However, the disembodied face is not wearing a military cap, unlike the other airmen. Photography experts can find no evidence of tampering. Maybe it is just the spirit of Freddy Jackson, having wanted to see the boys one last time.